A small group from SETI used the radio dishes at Arecibo to send out a message to whoever might be listening. Arecibo received a message back from an extraterrestrial, unknown source. The message turned out to be a new sequence of DNA with a rather friendly instructions on how to combine it with ours, and we allowed one to grow.
You created a monster with some kind of formula you got from outer space. The damn thing got away, and now you want us to hunt it down and kill it. Now, is that pretty close?
Welcome to Now Playing Podcast's Species Retrospective Series.
Welcome to the maternity ward from hell.
Hosted by Jason.
Man of action, I like that.
That's me.
Justin.
Guys like you are hard to find.
And Arnie.
A perfect hero for these imperfect times.
But be warned, this episode will contain detailed plot spoilers and strong language.
Yeah, it's time to get your hands dirty.
We hope you enjoy the show.
What are you waiting for?
Please, don't make me do this.
Do it.
Today we're discussing Species 3, starring Robin Dunn, Robert Knepper, Amelia Cook, J.P. Pittock, Michael Warren. Special appearance, blink and you miss her, by Natasha Henstridge. And introducing Sonny Maybe, directed by Brad Turner. This is Now Playing's cold, indifferent, inhuman, insatiable, and terrifyingly wonderful co-host, Arnie.
And careful Brooks Brothers, this is Justin.
And I'm Jason.
So, 6 years after Species 2, MGM calls up Frank Mancuso Jr. and says, we want to do more with Species on the cheap, being made for the Sci-Fi Channel.
How cheap are we talking?
I mean, who wouldn't?
I don't know the budget on this one. I know the budget on part 4 was only like $3.5 million, and I heard that 4 was less than 3.
But by about $50.
So, maybe $5 million here?
All right, well then we'll talk about what you can do and what you can't do with $5 million.
What do you do when you're making a movie for TV? You find a director who has a background in TV, right?
Yeah, Brad Turner is just a TV guy. If you look at his resume, there's just a ton of TV movies, TV episodes, a reliable guy. He'd work with Robert Knepper again on the Prison Break series and the Prison Break TV movie, Prison Break: The Final Break, in 2009, just a few years after this. But from what I gathered on the bonus features, and surprisingly there were some, I guess it's because DVDs were still the rage and they were putting bonus features on even the worst shit in this time period in 2004. But Mancuso was really the driving force behind this, and Turner was the guy yelling action. Mancuso was working with the effects guys and approving all makeup effects down to like those small stuff. He was the one who said to the creature designers, you know, let's do something a little different. Let's not do Giger. Let's make it look different this time.
Probably some licensing issues or some royalty checks he didn't want to write this time, right?
Giger was your big selling point for the first two.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a royalty or not, but he just wanted a different look. And Jason, you should feel vindicated. He also decided that we need younger characters than what we've had in the previous movies.
Yes. I feel completely vindicated. Oh, wait, until you see these actors.
He said that the characters were written to be younger than what they'd originally had in mind for part 3, because he said the people who watch this movie are young adults and they'll probably want to see a movie about young adults. I mean, it's not like they were grumpy old men chasing Natasha Henstridge, but you seemed to think they were a bunch of oldsters in their 30s there.
Well, they dress them like 60-year-olds, you know, and if it looks like 60, it walks and talks like 60, and it's Marg Helgenberg, burger. Yeah, it's not hot. And what? This is 2004. We've turned over another generation. There's a whole new horror trends that emerged in the late 90s. Besides Species, we had the slasher comeback. We started to get a sci-fi comeback in the early 2000s. And you know what we also got was a surge in straight-to-video sci-fi movies. I mean, I took a look at the list of things. We covered a ton of them. You got all these Return to the Living Dead movies, Wishmaster sequels, direct-to-video sequels of the Del Toro's Mimic, Dracula 2000, you know, that got 2 sequels. We talked about all the Hellraiser sequels. The Prophecy, they made 5 of those. I wasn't really surprised when Species 3 popped up, and I didn't see it on Sci-Fi. I saw it in a video store around that time. But I suppose I was surprised that they got Natasha Henstridge back.
She said she got paid as much for her one day on this film as she did for the entire first movie.
Didn't Michael Biehn say the same thing about his face showing up in Alien 3?
I think so.
Yeah.
And when she was approached, she said she got her start with Species and she would always be willing to go back to Species because she's indebted to it. But by the same token, she said, I'm coming up on 40. I'm a mom now. I don't have the same boobs I had back then, so I'm not going to show them.
I mean, that's fair. And to be honest with you, you could have told me that she didn't come back for this movie and they just used unused footage from the last movie to put her in here. That's how little we're going to see of her.
Right.
It's shocking that they bothered, really. It is so useless. But for reasons I will never understand, damn, did they want to just pick up immediately on that cliffhanger from part 2.
Were we going to pick up with the cat?
No damn cat. Maybe that cat ate the rat from part 1, and that could be a direct-to-YouTube sequel.
Okay. When we last left, there was a cat, there was a little boy, and there was something coming out of Natasha, and we'll get to that.
But before we do, I do have to ask, did you see the rated or the unrated version of this movie? They released it twice in December of 2004.
Interesting. You know, I'll tell you as we talk about this which one I saw as you guys point out differences, I guess, because I'm not sure which one I watched.
And I watched the R-rated version that's streaming on Amazon Prime, so you tell me, Arnie, which one am I watching?
I don't know which one Amazon is streaming. I don't know which one I bought on Apple TV. I ended up going to a physical disc to watch the unrated version, and then I went to moviecensorship.com to see what the differences were. And despite them having like a frame-by-frame analysis, I can't really tell you what the differences are. The unrated is about 50 seconds longer. There's like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds there. Like when we get to the character of Portos, there's 2 seconds longer of him dying. It's not like there's more nudity. It's like at times they'll say, oh, this shot isn't in the R-rated cut and it's a naked woman. But then they say that shot now appears 5 seconds later in the R-rated cut. I'm like, who the hell is tinkering with this shit so mildly that you're just moving these shots around a few seconds at a time? I mean, it's not like Brad Turner didn't get his director's cut or something and these few seconds really mattered to him.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like, is somebody didn't want the onus of calling this a director's cut, so they just called it an unrated cut. But yeah, I thought when I heard that there was an unrated and a rated R version, I just automatically assumed that, well, I don't know why rated R would have to do this, but if there was a made-for-TV version, I would assume that had no nudity or edited nudity, and the unrated version had nudity in it. So I assumed I watched unrated, but you're telling me it's up in the air. I could have watched either, and it probably doesn't matter too much.
Here's the one difference I found, and it's probably 30 seconds of the 50-second difference. At one point in the movie, the character Dean really stupidly sticks his hand in the fire. It's a dumb move. He's reaching in for a chess piece and goes for the fire. If you see him bandage his hand and run it under cold water, you're watching the unrated version, and if you never see him bandage his hand, you're watching the R-rated version.
I'm pretty sure that I got the R-rated version.
Put me into unrated camp.
You're an unrated?
Yep, I saw the bandaging. I'm a better man for it.
I saw no bandages, and I took detailed notes, especially for Dean. So, Arnie, we know that Frank Mancuso was called in to keep this series going. He found himself a TV director. What about this writer? As I looked at this guy, and he's got a couple of credits, they don't scream Species to me.
Yeah, he was just a writer looking for some work. I couldn't find a whole lot about him, but when I saw he wrote the remake of Flatliners, which, to be fair, I haven't seen, but to be fair, nobody has told me I should, I just didn't get great hopes. But he must be somebody in the sphere of MGM or Mancuso, because he wrote both this and the movie we're going to talk about next week.
Ooh. He did write Source Code, which is a movie that I kind of low-key enjoy. I'm not saying it's great cinema or anything, but I thought it was an enjoyable kind of thriller of a movie.
And it was a hit.
It's what he's known for. It was one of those famous blacklist script things where, like, the best unproduced scripts. Around the time he was doing Species 2, Source Code was on one of those lists of best unproduced films. It looks interesting. Jake Gyllenhaal sent into a time loop of a train explosion. I didn't have time to watch it before this review, but yeah, that looks interesting.
And according to his IMDb, he's written the screenplay for the next Justin Lin biodrama, so that could turn into something for him. But it's 20 years past his debut in Species 3.
Well, we're going to hop off of one train and see if there's another train in this movie, as we've been seeing the last couple weeks. Arnie, give him the plot on this one.
When last we left Eve, here briefly played by Natasha Henstridge, she was giving birth to a new type of alien baby, and near her was one of Patrick's half-alien sons. That boy, named Portis, kills Eve, and then local college biochemistry professor Dr. Abbott, played by Robert Knepper, steals Eve's baby. Sometime later, and I'll never know how much time has passed, Portis is now a dying adult and comes to Abbott and begs him to find a cure for the genetic instability that is killing off all of Patrick's alien hybrid children. That's right, at the end of part 2, we thought just one had slipped through Laura, Lennox, and Gamble's fingers, but there are dozens, hundreds more of Patrick's children out there, but they're dying of allergies.
They're not dying of sickle cell anemia?
They got the hay fever.
Abbott thinks the cure for the half-breeds lies with Eve's baby girl, who quickly matures into a beautiful adult named Sarah, played by Sunny Mabry. With limited resources, Abbott recruits discouraged grad student Dean, played by Robin Dunn, whose fusion reactor research just lost funding. In exchange for help with alien experiments and body disposal, Abbott offers Dean partnership in their scientific finds. Dean joins Abbott in trying to genetically engineer a stable alien species. Abbott harvests Sarah's eggs to continue his work, but then Abbott is killed in confrontation with another hybrid. Meanwhile, Dean's roommate Hastings meets an alluring woman online named Amelia, played by Emilia Cook. Amelia claims to be into intelligent biochemists. In reality, she's another hybrid searching for a cure.
Catfished.
After Hastings unwittingly shares Dean's research, Amelia arrives on campus, kidnaps Hastings, and forces him to continue Abbott's work. Dean is intercepted by government agent Wasatch, who wants to stop the alien threat without causing public panic. Together, they track down Amelia and rescue Hastings, stealing Sarah's eggs in the process. They take the eggs to Dean's former fusion reactor facility and destroy them. During the climax, Amelia attacks Dean, but falls into the reactor, while Sarah, having developed a conscience, saves Dean. In the aftermath, Dean completes Abbott's experiment and creates a genetically perfect mate for Sarah, but makes him sterile to prevent reproduction. Sarah leaves peacefully with her new partner, while Dean and Hastings return to their college lives, and credits roll.
And right off the bat, what we get is a voiceover over our opening credits. A woman talking about alien sightings and alien visitation, alien signals, trying to figure out how this ties into the previous species as she's talking over stock footage of nuclear blasts. And I thought this whole series was based on alien DNA that had been sent to us from, galaxies away.
Yeah, this conspiracy theorist is saying it was the atomic bomb that let aliens know we're here and ready. No, it was SETI, right? We sent out our DNA and our coordinates and everything. However, I can chalk this up to being a conspiracy theorist. I don't know how you would put this together, but this voiceover, this radio person talking, is actually in the movie later on.
I did put that together.
Yep. Okay, so we all followed it then, because it's like when we meet this lady later on, it's like, oh, that's the lady that was on the Art Bell show earlier in the movie.
I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I was just jotting down notes about the atomic bomb. But then we get the most dead, the most awful, the longest voiceover narration that I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I felt like I was back in Dungeons and Dragons in those latter movies where we were starting to get a whole bunch of narration exposition up front to try to lay down some tracks for us to follow. But holy cow, this one's undoing tracks for a movie that I didn't realize. I'll tell you what, I was probably 10 minutes into this movie before I was like, oh, this is directly happening after part 2. I thought we were maybe in a whole new story, just going with different characters. And then when we see Natasha in the back of that truck, I'm like, oh, so she got a haircut between the events of part 2 and getting in the back of that ambulance.
Yeah, they show us some scenes from the previous movies to just try and tie it in. Right off the bat for me, we know that we're in a very low budget production because this thing is shot on a digital video. It's not the same kind of film. It's a lower quality. It doesn't look cinematic. It looks made for TV, but I guess that's why we're here.
Hey now, this is high definition video they were using.
Was it groundbreaking at the time?
It was something at the time. It was cheap looking at the time.
It didn't look theatrical.
I know a couple years after this, the Blade TV series would tout how great it was to work with digital cameras because it meant they didn't need to pay for lighting rigs and things.
Oh, that's their reason why they don't have any lighting in this film. Okay, we've got digital cameras. We don't need to light this thing.
But this opening being done by, like I said, Robert Knepper. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this guy 2 times in 2 months. When I went to look at Wikipedia, I saw his name was Purple, which meant I'd gone to his page. And I'm like, why the hell would I have gone to this guy's page? I completely forgot already that he was the big bad in Jack Reacher 2.
Right, we just talked about this guy. Now we're talking about him again. How many do you need to get to the golden headphones? We do that anymore?
We don't, because we've ended up covering so many people in so many films that, like, the caterers all had golden headphones, so...
All right, well, that's okay. I'm going to write him a nice letter and let Robert Knepper know that we've been talking about him.
I mean, we talked about him in 2 Hunger Games movies, Jack Reacher, here, if you go way back, Transporter 3, and he was in The Day the Earth Stood Still that Brock and Alicia reviewed back in 2008.
And I'm telling you, if we ever get to Young Guns, we'll talk about him again in Young Guns 2. He played Deputy Carlisle in a scene in Young Guns 2, and I've seen the picture 1,000 times. So if you've seen it like me, he is in the scene where Billy and the gang are in the brothel. The deputy comes in and says, give us Lou Diamond Phillips, and we'll just take him. And then Billy the Kid puts Lou Diamond Phillips' hat on him, pushes him out the door, and he gets all shot up, and they killed their own deputy. That's him.
The guy works, but I don't know him.
I'm glad you guys are picking out some recognizable faces here, because outside of the brief Natasha we get, this is all a whole bunch of unknowns, and if I have seen them, not memorable faces for me.
But I can tell you why he doesn't work a whole lot if this opening narration is any indication of his acting ability. I love, though, that the writer decided, let's make sure we drive home, this is a bad day. The first words of his narration, Friday, April 13th. I'm like, wait, what movie am I watching? Is Natasha Henstridge coming or is Jason coming?
Mancuso probably insisted. There was probably a date on the script and he said, no, change that to Friday the 13th.
But he's going to remind you of what happened in the first 2 movies. And, all right, maybe I'm being obtuse, but after watching this movie, and then watching this movie again with the director's commentary, and watching hours of bonus features, I don't understand why a college professor is driving a truck with a dead alien in the back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Where did he come from? What is his motivation? We don't know, because all he's given us is exposition in his old voiceover. Really creepy exposition. They said she was beautiful, and it's insatiable and terrifyingly wonderful. I wrote these things down because they're terrible. Twice she was built. Twice she brought destruction. And then Eve wakes up.
Yeah, so just real quick on this guy, and I don't care to go into his backstory. I'm glad they don't either here, but I guess they're expecting us to believe that this guy is a professor, and he somehow caught on to what was going on at this barn, infiltrated the military, took control of a truck in military garb, and talked to the guy in the truck as if they knew each other for a while, and then drives off with it. I don't know where he started this plan, where he got it, but I'm glad it's not on screen, because this is just ridiculous from the jump.
Yeah, I just thought these guys were the drivers, maybe ambulance drivers. I don't even know what this truck is.
Well, it's military.
Yeah, the passenger's definitely an army guy. And then they're driving, and in the window that separates the cab of the truck from the back, pops the little kid from the end of the last one, his face in a big, ooh, jump scare moment. And again, I might be being obtuse, but did you guys catch how the passenger got killed? I was like, did the driver shoot him? Did the kid do it?
The kid did it. He had a gun pulled on him as he was about to call something in, and the professor wasn't going to let him do it, but the kid's tongue does break through that little window and kill the guy.
Yeah, because Abbott has a gun pointed at the passenger, so I wasn't sure who killed him.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, did nobody know that this kid was in the backseat to begin with?
Only the cat knew, and the cat isn't here to tell.
Meanwhile, Eve has given birth.
Yeah, this is a weird scene because Abbott runs around to the back and watches as Eve is giving birth and Portos, this kid, is killing her. He uses his prehensile tongue to strangle her. First of all, I didn't even think you could strangle one of these aliens because they seem like only fire kills them.
No.
But second, why is Portos against Eve? Does he know Eve stabbed his daddy? I don't understand. He chokes her, and choking works because they have Natasha Henstridge for one day.
Right. That's exactly it, Arnie, is they needed to get her out of this movie, and we can't have the professor, a guy that we're gonna eventually come to trust and follow somewhat in this movie. We can't have him just being a cold-blooded murderer, especially since this was his entire plan, was to get this alien to take back to his lab that we don't know about yet.
Meanwhile, Agent Wasak that you mentioned, he arrives, orders Eve's autopsy, and destroys the ambulance. Forget collecting any evidence in there. They didn't really need Natasha for this, but I suppose it's better than no Natasha?
Barely. I mean, it's kind of like a Stan Lee cameo. It's like nice to have the presence, I suppose, and it feels like a condoning of what's going on, while at the same time not really being impactful.
Yeah, that's perfectly put. She's here to get her name in the credits, give the movie a little bit of credibility, and she's only here for the one scene. Like I said, they don't care that her hair doesn't match up with continuity from the scene that she just left in the last film, and they try to spice it up a little bit. We give us clips from the previous two movies. I kind of want to see her contract for this. I think, like Arnie said, she wasn't going to do nudity, fine, but it almost seemed like she also wasn't allowing them to re-show nudity she had already done. They kept showing the parts where she was getting nude from the previous movies, and then cutting away before actually seeing it.
Maybe that's the basic cable part of it.
Maybe, but there's enough nudity in this movie itself on anything other than the Sci-Fi Channel cut, which I would love to see. I mean, did they go showgirls and put cartoon bikinis on the aliens? Or did they go like the TV cut of The Shining and just use Vaseline to blur the nudity? I want to know how they cut around the nudity in these films on the next two. But yeah, maybe it was Natasha. Like I said, after the press from the first one, she got self-conscious and maybe, I don't know. I mean, you can't unring a bell. The DVD is out there of her in the first film. So why would you get possessive about reuse of the footage that anybody can go whack off to anytime they want?
Yeah, I mean, you just never know. Maybe she just didn't want to be compared to the other younger women in this movie at any point. So, whatever. I mean, I guess it's time we have to let go of Natasha in this series. I mean,
she's too good for it at this point. She's done real studio pictures. She had a syndicated series, She Spies, around this time. So she was a star in her own right. She did not need this, but if she did it just to be generous and got paid what she was paid for the first two movies, more power to her.
I think she spent more time doing bonus features for the DVD than she did filming these scenes, because she did an entire retrospective interview on her career as Syl and as Eve, and then she did like a joint interview of the passing of the torch with Sonny Mabry. So she was saying how great it was to meet Sonny Mabry, who would take on the franchise, and Sonny was talking about how wonderful it was to talk to Natasha about the role and the tips Natasha gave her for performance, which was basically, Natasha said it was, act like you have no idea what's going on, because that was me on the first movie. Just walk around naked and clueless.
Okay, so now we can compare how Natasha walks around naked and clueless to how Sonny does, because the acting tips, I don't trust them.
But then we're introduced to our real main character. Abbott is kind of our Dr. Frankenstein again, to go to our reference from the previous films. But our real protagonist is Dean. And he is going to be such a rounded character as to not even be given a last name. He is just Dean.
And do you know this guy? I knew this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I looked him up, and he does a lot of shit direct-to-video sequels.
Yeah, he is the king of them.
Cruel Intentions 2, The Skulls 2, we've reviewed him in American Psycho 2.
Yep. This guy actually came on my radar the same year as Species 2 because he had a role in Marky Mark's The Big Hit. If you remember that action comedy?
Yeah.
Which wasn't funny. Yeah. Great trailer, terrible picture. But yeah, he played the role of like the Vanilla Ice street-talking sidekick to Marky Mark and Lou Diamond Phillips. I'll never forget because it was terrible. But he shows up here, he's giving everybody a tour of a natural gas facility that's somehow connected to his schoolwork because he's building a prototype fusion reactor.
As you do in college.
We get a brief description of his experimental reactor with science that I'm not sure if the science is accurate or not. I tried to run it through, Google, and it told me that this is very simplified science. This is not exactly how fusion reactors work.
Shocking.
I did search, would 10 million degrees melt the Earth? Because that's what he says his fusion reactor does. And Google's AI overview says 10 million degrees would likely result in the planet's vaporization. So...
Yeah, the way they wrote this guy in is so confusing. If we're going to know him as a college student, introduce him as a college student first, then show us at his project. Because the way he's introduced, I'm like, oh, this guy works at a power plant. I mean, he's kind of young, but whatever. He's giving a tour. He's got all this knowledge on a fusion reactor. And then next thing we know, he's running into a class that he's late for. I'm like, what is going, is this the same kid? What is going on?
I agree, Justin, but the one thing I knew when I'm watching this, and they're talking about this fusion reactor, and I can see that they have built a fusion reactor with miniatures or something, I'm like, well, this is how they're going to kill the alien in the climax, is you're introducing Chekhov's fusion reactor.
Exactly.
Only one guy can fire up the reactor. Oh, well, I guess we'll have to wait to the end to find out. And this has all the hallmarks of direct-to-video right now. Just, it's limited lighting, these tight shots, this TV framing. It's so dark, especially when he goes to campus in the daytime.
Yeah, he's a graduate student, I guess, and I believe from my own graduate projects, when you're a graduate student, it requires a degree of specialization. You're done with your general education courses, you're now focusing on something. And if he is building the world's first baddest 10 million degree fusion reactor, why is he also studying biochem?
Right.
Dean goes to Abbott's class where he's discussing viruses and the perfection. Virus is perfect. Let's have a conversation about viruses. And then he throws Dean lines like, who are you to judge what species lives or dies? Because Dean is a speciesist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they call him because he's happy that smallpox is going extinct and Abbott is not happy that smallpox is going extinct. Well, we know Abbott can now be our attorney general, but other than that, I don't see much positive here.
Yeah, he kind of plays that, who are you to play God card, why do you get to decide which species live and die? And it's like, well, some are, invasive and hurtful to humans and other animals, but I guess what they're trying to do here is set up the Professor Abbott as some sort of empathetic character, like that he loves all life no matter what.
Well, he definitely loves his alien life, his alien daughter, because the next scene we're going to show him back in his home. He's looking for a cat. Where's that damn cat? And then, oh no, the cat's dead. And there's a hungry little girl in the basement. She is hungry.
Yeah, she wants Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
I love how there's advertisements right in the middle of this movie. Red Lobster, Sara Lee.
If you were wondering, are these paid product placements? The answer is yes, absolutely. And director Brad Turner was partially shocked that they would want to sponsor a Species movie, but then said, but we're making them look good. The alien likes Red Lobster and Sara Lee pie.
Was there a Red Lobster tie-in, Arnie? Could we have gone to Red Lobster in 2004 and gotten a special commemorative shrimp bucket?
It wasn't smart business decisions that caused Red Lobster to go bankrupt, but it might have been sponsoring Species 3 that played a part.
Somewhere in their books, Species 3 is written down, and I want to see it. I want to see it. Somewhere in the last 20-something years, Red Lobster's books has Species 3 in there.
My favorite moment of the entire movie, though, the whole damn movie, is this little girl is hungry and she eats the lobster through the shell, whatever. And then Abbott goes to get her dessert and pulls out a Sara Lee pie. And the girl just takes her hand and grabs some of the pie. And it looks like a big thing of whipped cream in her hand as she starts eating it. And that sound effect of her going, num, 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 is amazing.
Kid's got an attitude, too. Every parent's worst nightmare.
The whole eating thing here is weird for sure. She's eating lobster like Daryl Hannah and Splash, like she's eating the shell and all with the crunches. So yeah, this is where she picks out. In the first movie, we had SIL, right? S-I-L. That stood for something, and I can't really remember at this point, right?
It never stood for anything, but they tried to make it fit something, and it didn't. So they just said it was the 3-letter acronym given to her fertilized egg.
Yep. And then Eve, that definitely stood for something. And now just Sarah. Not even Sara Lee, just Sarah, but she saw it on a pie box.
Hey, nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. So we're going to root for her. And I thought, it's been a long time since I've seen Splash, but what I was going back to is how Sil, when she stole that banana on the train car, ate the banana peel and all, and now we have Sarah eating the lobster tail and all. But you're right, more people have probably seen Splash than have seen Species 1, let alone Species 3. I guess they're all fish out of water stories.
And I guess lobster's better for you than raw cat, so she's making progress.
Abbott tells her that she can't leave the house. She has to stay here because the outside world is too dangerous. He tells her that she's the 3rd generation of something very special, and then explains to us, the audience, because this kid's not going to understand, how she was created. And he thinks there's a message inside her. He doesn't know that the other little kid is still running around.
But he's going to show up. Portis is going to show up on Abbott's doorstep looking like a bad makeup effect with some pus running down his cheek and these perfect aliens, these indestructible machines, these things that can take bullets and can take dismemberment and regrow their limbs. Well, I guess Patrick was a bad baby daddy because all the half-breeds are dying from the old War of the Worlds trope of Earth viruses are killing them. I do think he mentions allergies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or maybe he was a doper.
Well, Abbott's solution to this is to inject him with antihistamines. Basically gives him a shot of Benadryl and just blows him up. He just starts oozing pus out of his face and his mouth.
Yeah, he dies a good death.
Yeah, it'll be a while before I eat yogurt or pudding again, but yeah, it was pretty grotesque.
The strange thing is, he dies and these tentacles come spilling out of his chest. And it made me ask the question in my head about, what are the aliens like underneath their skin covering? Now, we're not going to get real good answers, and they certainly couldn't write an answer that's satisfactory in these movies. But I just want to know, how do you hide this rather large alien inside this human body? Because that's what it seems like.
I just love that they popped out like streamers. If you've ever had a surprise party and you just pop those big snakes that come out of the can and things.
You're right. The anatomy of these aliens has been inconsistent throughout the series. And it just feels like if you show some tentacles, we'll know that it was an alien. But yeah, it almost reminds me of from the Star Wars animated Clone Wars, that creature Dirge, who was just basically made up of a bunch of earthworms and kind of had a human form.
Deep cut. I like it.
Yeah, you brought it up before where it's like, if they're going to be partly human with aliens underneath their skin or whatever, kind of need to do that meat suit from Men in Black. And they kind of started doing it here with this kid. He almost looks like he's wearing a human mask. His head is misshapen. He's got bulbous things all over the place. They didn't go that way. They gave us tentacles in the stomach.
And this is also where Sarah comes out of her cocoon and is now played by Sunny Mabry, who I looked her up. I guess I've seen her. I have seen The New Guy more times than I can count.
Yep.
So she was in that. She was also Tiffany in Snakes on a Plane, which I saw once in theaters.
The spiritual grandfather to now playing. How dare you buzz by that?
But her big break, apparently, according to Wikipedia, is that she was in the Limp Bizkit video Nookie. And so I went and watched the Nookie music video so you don't have to.
Oh, no, I do it all for the Nookie.
The what?
And I expected Sunny Mabry to have a huge presence in this Nookie music video like Tawny Katane and Whitesnake. I literally couldn't pick Sunny Mabry out of this video. If you haven't seen the video, Fred Durst is just walking through the streets of a city like some kind of wretched Pied Piper as hot women just start to follow him more and more as he walks. Just like every hottie he walks past just starts to follow him, and he leads them all to a back alley concert, and the hotties start to dance while Fred is on stage with the rest of the band. And there's a lot of really attractive women in this video, but I didn't see Sunny.
You're making this video sound like something so much more interesting than Species 3 is. Maybe we should just review Limp Bizkit videos.
I actually could do an entire show about this Nookie video because it ends with Fred Durst getting arrested, and I can't tell if that was real or make-believe.
Well, unfortunately, we're not here for the Nookie. We're here for the tentacles and cocoons and not quite Natasha Henstridge naked blonde women.
Well, I mean, she's kind of here for the Nookie, right? I mean... Abbott's gonna leave the house, and for some reason, Turner, the head of the science department at this university, shows up. This Turner just seems so evil that he should honestly be played by William Atherton, because I can't picture why this guy first gleefully cancels the funding for Dean's fusion experiment, to which Turner's the only one who had the key. So it's like Turner's writing the checks. It's Turner's name on the project, but he's happy to cut Dean off at the knees for reasons. And then he goes to Abbott's house to see what Abbott is doing, sees Abbott's home lab, and is like, I knew it! And then proceeds to break into his house.
Yeah.
This is some Ed Rooney, Ferris Bueller bullshit.
Right? Can we talk real quick about this Dr. Nicholas Turner? Like you said, Arnie, he's writing checks, he's canceling projects at a university. That makes him a dean. You're going to call him a dean, but we got a character named Dean for no reason whatsoever. So you're not going to call him Dean, he's Dr. Turner. Just bothered me. Just really bothered me. Because it's like, if he's just another doctor and another professor, why is he lording power over everybody?
Yeah, there's no reason for him to be so hard on Dean. This character's completely unnecessary, but I'll tell you why we need him. We need him to be there when Sarah comes out of her cocoon. We need him to get into the house and then find her all naked.
Yep, we need another no means no situation to show us and remind us of the previous movies.
This is the craziest thing.
However, I do like this because it reminds me a little bit of Alfred Molina in the first one, coming to his hotel room and just finding Natasha Henstridge ready to go. And this Turner is like, am I asleep? Am I awake? Who the hell cares?
Just ridiculous. Just, you know it's a movie, because guys like Turner do not get girls like Sarah unless they are ex-football coaches and they need somebody to run the social media on their new job.
Exactly. I was thinking a little bit of like Modern Family with Al Bundy and Sofia Vergara, but yeah, it's a similar type of thing. He was a closet millionaire after all.
Mm-hmm.
This guy Turner gets all sleazy. He's like, your lack of inhibition is truly inspiring. He's about as dumb as Alfred Molina, ready to risk it all. And then again, we've had these scenes in the Species movies where the girl says no and these guys insist. And when you force yourself on a speciesist,
you're going to get tongue punched.
You're going to get the tongue through the mouth.
Yeah.
Do we know why she says no to him? Because she's game at first, and usually we find out, oh, they were diabetic, or oh, they have a recessive sickle cell gene. Here, I don't think we ever find out what Turner had wrong with him. Maybe he had testicular cancer from the fusion reactor or something, but...
Gingivitis, for all we know.
Micropenis.
Chronic halitosis, one kiss and she was done. But this is when Abbott goes to recruit Dean, which he hates Dean, right? They got in a fight. Like, he's the mean teacher who called Dean a speciest, but now he's like, you have no project and I have no assistant.
This is all so clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know why we need Dean in this movie until Turner takes him home and says, hey, we got a girl, she's your age, because she's still out back all naked and everything.
You know what I'm thinking of with this? A much better movie. I'm thinking of a lot of much better movies, but I kind of am seeing a little bit of Reanimator here. How you had Jeffrey Combs as the scientist who knew the stuff but needed the naive lab assistant, which was Bruce Abbott, and the way that he brought him in and lured him and used his girlfriend as bait and things like that. I wish I was getting some of that interplay here, even some of that Dr. Hill stuff, you know, when Dr. Hill was trying to steal the research in Reanimator and saying to Jeffrey Combs, I'm going to take your research and publish it and you'll be my assistant. Something like that. Here, yeah, I just don't get why out of all of his students, Abbott picks Dean. I also don't get why apparently any student on this campus can do DNA splicing on aliens, because later Hastings is going to be doing it and he's like a surfer dude. He does not come across like a geneticist.
I got a few things to say about Hastings when we get to him, but yeah. Abbott wants to engineer a disease-resistant alien species. He wants to remove the diseased human DNA, mate a pure strain of Portis DNA. I wrote all this down while Dean was poking at the Portis body with a fire poker. By the way, the tentacles were still moving in that scene.
I noticed that, and I couldn't tell if that meant that Portis was still a little alive or if gravity was settling in. I thought he had said he wanted to use Sarah's DNA to cure the half-breeds, and that's why he secretly harvested Sarah's eggs.
It's incredibly confusing.
But Abbott is in for hiding bodies and doing research in exchange for shared credit.
Yeah, that's right. Dean is like, I want shared credit because Turner has the access to the power plant or something in the name of science. That was a quote too.
Oh boy. Yeah, accessory to murder.
Can we talk about the burial scene, the Portis burial scene, when they just kind of kick his body over the shoreline into the swamp? He can't be more than like a foot off the shore.
Yeah, any decent detective or forensic investigator is going to find his body immediately. It's not hidden.
And if all the little creatures take a bite out of it, aren't they going to become infected with alien DNA? This is all so stupid already, and we're only, 35 minutes into the film?
A whole swamp of creatures.
All I could think of was the TV show Nip Tuck. If you've ever watched it, the first couple seasons were great, and a couple of plastic surgeons were forced by a mobster to get rid of a body. And so they went to the Florida swamps. They were, I think, Miami-based. So they drove into the Everglades.
Yep.
And strapped hams onto the body and put them in the swamp so that the gators would come for the ham and eat the body. And this led me to wondering, where is this movie taking place? We know the last movie took place around DC, and Abbott was driving around DC, but at the end of the movie, Wasich is going to say to Dean, you can come around to DC after graduation if you need a job. So that makes me think this isn't in DC.
They're still in the area. I think they're in Maryland.
Well, I looked at, there's one scene where Dean pulls up to the house. His car has a Virginia license plate on it.
Oh, yeah, that's still the area as well.
Oh, okay. So I guess there are swamps in D.C. that aren't just in Congress. Okay.
D.C. is famously built on a swamp, honestly, so that's kind of accurate.
But Sarah is allowed to go. I mean, Abbott's going to say, this is your home, not a prison. Go out.
He just said you can't leave.
And so she's going to go to a frat party. And of course, there's a lot of eligible genetic material at a frat party.
Yeah, by the way, I was looking at the little town, the main street that she walks through, and they got a movie theater marquee. Did you notice Jeepers Creepers advertised on there?
I did. I have an obsession with movie marquees and other movies. And so I looked up, I saw Jeepers Creepers, but there's also a movie called Gumdrop Annie starring Danielle Reynosa and Pocket Kings starring Todd Cummings. And neither of those are real movies. And I couldn't even find those actor or actresses' names on IMDb. So I think maybe friends of the director?
Possibly.
I love this backlot, though, where the movie theater is. Half the action of the movie is going to take place on that backlot.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the frat party, she throws some guys around, and one guy asks for the tongue. You don't want the tongue.
Is the tongue the thing now? Is this associated with Species?
Mm-hmm.
Sticking the tongue through the back of a person. I guess that's a Species gimmick now. They're going to have to do this in every movie.
Yeah, this is the thing they think we want, right? Maybe we is the wrong term. The person that is actually sitting here watching Species 3 in 2004 because they were excited to hear that it was coming out. Maybe that's what they want. They want the tongue punch.
I just don't know why she doesn't get laid at this party, because there's got to be somebody at this campus who would be decent genetics. I mean, Natasha Henstridge wasn't all that picky. Just don't be diabetic, don't be sickle celly, and you're fine. Come on in. I mean, John Kerry was good, Whip Hubley in that first film.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that the frat party didn't become a bloodbath, but apparently it was just to set up that we're still on a college campus area.
Yeah, surely they couldn't afford it. And the kindly shopkeeper is going to befriend Sarah, but she doesn't look all right. Colleen, we find out the woman's name. This is the woman who gave us the voiceover.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but she talks about being an alien conspiracy theory, saying Roswell is real, and she knows how to defend herself against alien abduction, not realizing, haha, isn't this a knee slapper? You've got an alien right next to you. And then they're at a train crossing. This is really funny to me. Sarah jumps out of the car to chase the train. There's a half-breed on the train that she can sense, Yosef, and Sarah falls nowhere near the train. She doesn't fall for any reason that I can tell. She's not trying to grab the train or anything, but when Colleen comes up, Sarah's now missing an arm. I guess somehow that arm got under the train wheel.
Such a clunky scene.
Don't worry, it'll grow back.
Yeah, what do you think about this? They're finally getting some special effects, right? We're getting to see what CGI in a TV movie in 2004 looks like, and I gotta be honest, it doesn't look much better than the head growing back in part 2.
But yet it does look better than the head growing back in part 2. Not much better, but better. And this is a TV movie being done, 6 years later. It's amazing how far computer effects have come. I'm not saying these are photoreal. I'm not saying these are good, but they're better than what we'd seen so far.
By the way, we get this guy on the train staring at her. We know the guy must be something because the camera lingers on him for more than 2 seconds. Did any of you think that he might be another alien?
He is an alien.
No, but did you guys, when you were watching it at first?
Yeah, his eyes are purplish pink, aren't they?
Right off the bat?
Yeah, his are red and hers go blue. The half-breeds get red eyes and her eyes go blue.
I guess I didn't pick that up. All right.
At least he was weird enough looking that I was like, oh, this guy is an alien. And they showed him he had a whole bag full of prescription pills, taking handfuls of those. I think they set it up enough that I was like, oh, this is another half-breed dying of allergy season.
Just randomly driving by on the train.
No, they can sense each other.
Patrick had kids everywhere.
Yeah, and they can sense there's a new breedable female in the area. There's flashes where they can see each other as aliens having sex. They come quickly, and I think our brains are blocking them out, but they do kind of try to show us this stuff.
I do notice it. They insert it Fight Club style. Yeah.
And then she traces Yosef to his hotel room, and she's ready to get down in the hotel room, but I don't know why she couldn't sense this until, they're almost going at it. But yes, the half-breeds are dying. Yosef is dying. So she just knocks him down and leaves. But you know what? I do recall around this time, Abbott said, Sarah has eliminated our species as potential partners because she's purer than Syl or Eve was, and so there is no genetic partner for her. So I guess that's why the frat party didn't work, why Yosef didn't work, nothing works, is because she's more alien and more pure. So the way Abbott phrases it is, simply put, the girl can't get laid.
Yeah, right.
And Sarah goes back home where Abbott and Dean have been doing their experiments, and we get a little flirting. Even though humans are no match for Sarah, Sarah likes a guy who can lose chess in 4 moves, which is a true talent to lose chess that quickly. We learn if she just touches a book, she knows everything inside of it, which is especially good because those aren't classic Staunton chess pieces they're playing with. So I don't know how she knows which is the knight and which is the rook, but she's a fast study at a chess game.
Yeah, Dean is blown away. We get this weak piano score to make it feel like, oh, they're falling in love over the chess. And then she stands up. The acting here of the Sarah character, she's like, I have to sleep now. Like she's RoboCop going back to the chair. It's just bad. It's very robotic.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know if she's trying to act like an alien or a Terminator or what, but it's inconsistent throughout.
So this is where Dean's roommate Hastings really starts to come into play. We had like one scene of Dean talking to Hastings early on, and Hastings stood out to me as a real idiot because he ends the conversation with, I have to go, I have some online auctions. And so I'm like, that's like Patrick Bateman, I have to return some video cassettes.
Yeah, about this point, the movie remembers, oh yeah, we've introduced other characters. We probably should bring them back in. So we get a little bit of Hastings, and he's poking around the internet, and he gets an email that we talked about earlier with the brunette chick who's super hot, and it looks like a porn site, and she's looking for sciencey dudes to bang.
Yes, Amelia, who, this is totally some kind of cyber scam. The way she's asking specifically for certain kinds of guys with certain types of DNA splicing knowledge, but she's posed on the website in like a lingerie, and it reminded me how rudimentary website design was in 2004, though. I mean, it doesn't feel like 21 years ago websites totally sucked, but they really totally sucked 21 years ago.
Mm-hmm. We were deep into the Flash era at that point.
I know, I almost expected one more step and Nedry from Jurassic Park would pop up.
But there's other characters that they've introduced and have forgotten about up until now too, not just Hastings. But remember the military was involved at this at some point, and there was a military guy who was giving orders at the beginning. What's he been up to this whole time? Well, we find out he's getting this email too. So this is going to be their lead. He's going to keep an eye on this email and track it and see where it's coming from.
But as we're entering new characters, it's time for one to exit in a plot twist I legitimately didn't see coming. I did not expect Abbott to check out of this movie halfway. He's luckier than we are because I had to finish this movie, but he got to leave. And what happens is this Yosef tracked Sarah to her house and breaks in and starts attacking Dean and Abbott and knocking them out. And Abbott saves Dean by using some kind of like bone saw on the half-breed. Again, allergies kill it. You don't need a saw. You might be able to kill him with a Q-tip.
Sneeze on this guy.
Can we talk about this suit here? Because we're not in Giger territory anymore. This suit looks like a leftover from a Buffy episode. It literally looks like the season 2 Fishman suit from Buffy.
It's bad. These are really, really bad suits in this movie. The CGI may look bad, Justin, but it's rare when the practical effects look worse. And here, these are some really dumb-looking suits.
And this is supposed to be an action scene for us. It's completely flat. The camera's not really giving us anything. There's no score to give us any impact. It's so dull. But Abbott eventually gets a tentacle through the chest before the other alien dies.
Yeah, he gets tossed around a bit, but yeah, he gets hit right in the heart, so looks like there's no coming back for him, and partially expecting him to maybe injected himself with some alien DNA or something, so maybe he'd be part of this, but no, he's just up out of this movie.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That would have been a twist that I could see coming, but here, he's stabbed through the heart, but he's going to be around to give his dying declaration. Do it, Dean. Create the new species. Dead. And, I mentioned Jurassic Park. Credit where due. The writer of this film has also seen Jurassic Park because Dean is going to talk to Sarah and say, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should.
I wrote Jurassic Park next to that in my notes because Dean wants to end the experiment. They've got all these eggs, by the way, saved up in like a thermos. We're going to be following that thermos through the rest of the movie. This other alien followed them to the lab because it was tracking Sarah.
Yeah.
Why did it want to kill Sarah? Did it still want to hook up with Sarah? Was it just jealous?
Yeah, it was being rapey.
No, it wanted to rape her. At one point, somebody yells he's raping her. He's got this penis-like protrusion that's going at her before Dean and Abbott come in and save the day.
Which we saw that same thing happen in the last movie. And we saw it happen to Whip Hubley in the first movie.
But what we didn't see happen in any of the previous movies is a fucking Viking funeral. Where Dean is going to take Abbott back to that swamp and put him on a raft and light him on fire with gasoline.
Oh no, and it explodes into a big ball of flames. This is terrible.
Using ammonium nitrate and chloric acid, hopes the professor would approve.
Are you sure you can't just bury the body in the backyard? Why do they keep taking these things to the swamp? The swamp's full of bodies. What did they do with the other alien's body? They didn't show us what they did with that, but they showed us what they did with Abbott.
But Dean decides he's not going to do the project, and we get this because he goes back to the lab and turns off the monitors. Good to save on that power. Why didn't you just have the auto turn off feature on for those monitors so you didn't have to go around and turn them off one by one?
I think I can explain a little bit, Abbott, why he gets taken out early. They don't bring him back. It's because we want the young people. That's what's going to bring in the crowds. Young, hot people. And by the way, we got like hot Sarah here. I'm going to give some props to this guy Hastings. He comes off like a total tool and he's kind of goofy looking. And then the next scene, dude like rips off his shirt. Dude is ripped. I was like, damn. So you got a little something for everybody.
Yeah, and honestly, Sonny Mabry is very attractive, but there's something about Amelia that gets me.
The dark hair.
I don't know why, but, she comes rolling in her Ferrari, getting some gas with that phallic tank and nozzle and talking down to these gas station people.
Rubes.
One of whom looks like David Crosby lost a little weight.
So maybe I was just thinking a little bit too much about the original movie, and maybe they weren't trying to do this. But if they were, it worked on me, because at first I thought I missed a scene where Sarah dyed her hair brown or brunette and was going out hunting looking different. I didn't realize this was a different actress until just a little bit later. I thought they looked similar enough in the face that I wasn't sure who was who.
Yeah, this actress, I didn't recognize her from anything. When I looked her up, I had not seen anything she'd done.
No, I haven't either. I'm not a big Bold and the Beautiful fan.
Soap actress.
I saw she played lead doctor in 2 episodes of Hawaii Five-0. I believe she'd probably be about as convincing as Denise Richards as a nuclear physicist in The World Is Not Enough.
She shows up here, she goes into the gas station restroom, and the first thing she got to do is take her top off. Species movie.
Yeah.
And she does this alone in this nasty gas station bathroom. And the gas station attendant comes in. And I think this is the usual Species trope, right? Gross guy pushes himself on a woman. The woman is an alien, so she kills him. And that's going to happen here. But she's going to fuck him first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his gross-ass bathroom.
This creepy John Doe-looking guy gets lucky here. I swear to you guys, one night back in my early 20s, this is in the very early aughts, before this movie came out, I went over to my buddy's house. We went out all night, did the whole thing, went to bars, crashing on his couch. I'm flipping around to the Skinamax, a movie called Alien Erotica, The Sex Files. I know I brought this up in the first movie. I swear there is a scene that takes place in a gas station bathroom that's very similar to this thing. I think this movie ripped off Alien Erotica.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it wouldn't be Species if we didn't have implicated rape, because this was about to turn into a gangbang. The rest of these gross dudes are heading towards the bathroom to find out what's going on and getting themselves worked up until they walk in and see their buddy with a hole directly through his skull.
Well, he was getting fucked hard. It was a very mean scene. Just me slamming into things, you know what I mean? A lot of grunting.
Yeah, and he was on that gross-ass toilet, but we're gonna have, the David Crosby guy, what say we join the party? It's like, Jesus Christ. And then David Crosby's gonna look through the hole in this guy's body, and so it's supposed to be comedic, I guess.
Yeah, it's a riot. So, one question about Amelia. Did Patrick have any female children? I don't recall any from the last movie.
Yeah.
We didn't see any, but obviously Amelia is one.
Yeah, but she's sick as well.
Right. I'm also going to point out that we only have about a little less than 30 minutes left in this film, and we've just met who I assume is our lead villain, and then we're going to be reintroduced again to this Agent Wasek, who's going to show up and just start spewing exposition to Dean, talking about something called Project Athena, because now we're going to insert retcon nonsense about the previous movies.
Yeah, everything here gets worse. The movie hasn't been good, but despite me liking the character and the actress of Amelia a little bit, everything here just goes to shit. I mean, Sarah tries to seduce Dean to convince him to continue the research, and then Dean's like, you know what I need? I need a run to clear my head. He just goes jogging in the midst of aliens and dead professors, and knowing his roommate stole his research to lure in this catfishing brunette, Dean's like, I'm gonna clear my head and go for a run. I gotta keep up this body.
Priorities, man, priorities.
And Amelia goes after Hastings, and now she has a bad rash on her shoulder and things. We didn't see any of that during the sex scene, did we? She just looked hot in that gross bathroom, but now her skin is starting to break down, and she kills a random co-ed, which is really not what we've been seeing from these hybrids, is wanton assault and murder.
Yeah, that makes no sense. It's like a lot of things.
The thing that most stands out to me at this point in the movie is I'm really starting to feel the low budgetness, right? They're in this completely uninhabited dorm room. Dean and his roommate are the only two people on this floor. Amelia comes looking. She's chasing him and running through the hallway. She goes down to another floor and happens to have one person come out of a room. I've never seen a dorm that bereft of people in my life, and it's really starting to feel like they're filming on a closed college campus or over the summer.
I don't know what college this is, but they got big dorms too, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. That is a big room that they share. My college dorm was tiny, enough to fit 2 twin beds.
Yeah, I had to do bunks in my first dorm room. Like, our rooms were so small, there wasn't room for 2 beds. But yeah, Hastings, the himbo, is just as good as Dean. So Amelia kidnaps him and takes him to Abbott's lab, and Hastings is able to start working on the eggs.
Dude has never used any of Abbott's equipment. What does he know?
Right? And he's got the needle and the egg and everything. Like, how would he even begin to know what to do, yet alone how to turn on the equipment?
By the way, Amelia is definitely more appealing in many ways more than Sarah. She's here for, like I said, the last half hour, not even the full half hour. But the actress is giving us more than Sarah's given us this whole picture.
Yeah, but any attraction I had to Amelia is gone when she throws up vanilla pudding in the sink. And it's obviously some kind of pudding that she's regurgitating here.
Yeah, plus she's still got that rash.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pussy, but it's gross either way.
We get the sad piano music, tells us we don't have very, very long, so Hastings better hurry up. And he wants to inject DNA directly into some other stuff. It's very confusing. I don't know what he's trying to do here.
He's created an alien embryo after just a few hours of being exposed to this experiment for the first time.
Yeah, this is almost the footage that we saw in the very beginning of the first movie. This is how they originally created Syl. We got to see a microscopic shot of a needle going into an embryo, and that's how this whole thing started.
Oh, I wish Ben Kingsley were here.
They couldn't afford Ben Kingsley for any longer than they had Natasha Henstridge. But Wasich approaches Dean, and I did love this bit of the director's commentary, where he's like, we don't have a lot of money. We can't afford to have, like, an army. You know, some people were asking, why don't they just drop a missile on her? We can't afford airplanes or missiles, so we're just gonna say the government doesn't care about aliens anymore. They're too busy with the war on terror. You know, it's George W.'s reign, which also makes me wonder how much time passed between the movies, because Gamble clearly said in the last movie, it's the 90s. But in this movie, they clearly say it's the 21st century.
I did make a note here at the very beginning scene. Abbott says to that other military guy, the one who's killed by child porters, he says, "Would you just get back from Iraq?" And I thought to myself, okay, yeah, I know where we are now and what time in history.
But Wasich is going to fire a gas bomb into this lab, and Hastings can grab our MacGuffin thermos of alien eggs.
He's got my eggs! That's an actual line. He's got my eggs! Get those. Those are expensive. Don't let those eggs go to waste.
And just like I knew it would, where do Wasich, Dean, and Hastings run to? The Ashland Power Plant facility where we have our fusion reactor.
Yep, you knew it was coming.
I knew that would play a big role in our finale here.
But before we get to our monster mashup in latex costumes that are ill-fitting, we do get one pretty cool kill here. I mean, it's not unique. I've seen it before. But Amelia follows them, and as they break through the gate of the power plant, the guard turns around and starts shooting at him, and then he turns around and there's an alien there that slices him directly in half, and he splits apart with all the ooze and viscera that you would expect from something like that.
That was a good kill.
I love those behind the scenes on this one because the director wanted this kill and was talking with the makeup guy, and the makeup guy's like, "You don't have the money for it unless I happen to have a life-sized mock-up of me already made. So if you cast me as the actor, then we can use the makeup I already built."
Perfect.
That is a brilliant way to break into pictures. I am going to steal that idea.
But I did like that death. The CGI isn't great, but it's a fun death. It's reminding me a little bit of the laser death in Resident Evil 1 and things. Anytime you get like that slow body person realizes they're dying when they've already been cut kind of thing is fun.
Yeah, Ron Perlman in Blade 2. I thought about that too. And you know what? This is going to be the most exciting thing to happen in this climax because we're going to get a bunch of chase scenes, real uptight close shots on the suits because they don't want to show us the whole suits. Two aliens running around the power plant. We don't know where they're going. Dean's running around the power plant. He's got to go do something to get rid of the eggs.
And he goes into air vents. I think, this whole series has tried to be Alien, so I'm like, is this like the Tom Skerritt moment of going through the vents and being attacked? And is Dean on a suicide mission because he has a remote control for the fusion reactor and he stole Turner's badge, so he was able to fire up the fusion reactor? But here is where the rubber suits hit the road because Sarah is supposed to be conflicted between wanting her eggs and wanting to propagate her species, but also wanting to protect Dean from Amelia. But because these rubber suits have no face articulation, all I get is like a cocked head, and there's no articulation or anything that can sell a performance out of this.
No, absolutely not. And we trust that these are just stunt people who are getting pulled up by wires. There's a lot of jumping like they were Batman going up the little zip line that he uses.
Yeah, jumping and whip pans and... Yeah, it's not about figuring out where they are geographically in this building or not, because we're eventually going to end up in the core of the reactor. But it is about, like Arnie said, making us think about Alien, right? We're seeing all kinds of hallways and grates and stairs and industrial equipment. They're very much trying to make us think Alien, spaceship, sci-fi.
They're trying to make us think Jedi at the end here, because Amelia is killed by Sarah, tosses her into the shaft like she's the Emperor, and then Sarah goes down in there too, or so we think.
And I love the reactor going off. Dean closes the reactor door just in time, and then they shake the camera to make it seem like something's happening. It's like the old 60s Star Trek effects.
Star Trek, yep. They're following around and all that.
And then we get the 3 weeks later title, and we're going to find out, yes, Sarah didn't fall in the reactor. She was hanging on by her fingertips. So after she saved Dean from Amelia, Dean saved her from a fiery death and pulled her back up, and now it just takes 3 weeks to decode an entire alien genome and create the perfect alien boyfriend for Sarah.
Yep, she gets a Abercrombie and Fitch model for a boyfriend that doesn't have a speaking line.
And really, should anyone in this movie have had a speaking line?
That's the real question.
Dean says he fixed the damaged DNA to make that baby boy for Sarah and sends her and her hunky boy alien son on the way. He said he tweaked the chromosomes, which is so easy to do. I'll show you guys after we finish recording the tweak chromosomes.
Right on. I have a few questions. I'm close, but yeah, I wasn't quite there yet.
They walk off along the 1902 bridge. They really put that 1902 in frame, and I thought to myself, does that mean anything to anybody?
The director said that he did that to fuck with people and make them wonder what this 1902 means, or maybe whoever does the sequel could pick up on this 1902.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What were you, Andy Kaufman? It's not all about you. God.
I do like that Hastings, of all people, is like, you've just killed the human race. And Dean's like, not if I made him sterile. Like, you can have a boyfriend who's not me, but you ain't gonna have a baby daddy unless it's me.
But Sarah wants a baby.
Aww.
And wouldn't Sarah smell that on him? I mean, can't they smell infertility?
Yeah, right? You would think.
Infertility doesn't give off the same scent as sickle cell anemia.
But then they walk off into the sunset like it's the end of an Incredible Hulk episode.
Yes.
So, Justin, dare you recommend Species 3? Jason.
We know Species 3 is a direct-to-video movie. I don't expect much beyond the core tenets of a Species film, sex and violence. I mean, how do you blow it when that's literally your formula and that's all you have to deliver? I will say this, for your low-budget movie, every dollar is on screen, so you can see they barely had any dollars to work with here. I know that low-budget, straight-to-video, straight-to-streaming, or straight-to-cable, it's got a bad reputation, but we have seen quality straight-to-tape stuff before. And I always will go to those Death Race prequels that Now Playing reviewed last year as symbols of quality when it comes to a straight-to-streaming kind of film. This movie, there's no excuse for making a movie that's this damn dull. Okay, from the story to a lack of scares, it just limps along. There's no tension, there's no action. The sex and the violence, there's a little bit, but it's like checking a boxes. There's barely any of it. It is the kind of slow, talky, direct-to-video throwaway film that is the bottom tier of sci-fi channel sequels. The scenes here, they play out their awkward silence, mismatched music cues. Alien suits are terrible, so they're mostly hidden in the tight shots. The screenplay, with these half-hearted attempts at creating continuity between the films. We really didn't talk about the Project Athena thing, but that was supposed to mean something. Apparently, that was the name of the projects from the first two Species movies. The plot is confusing. It's stacked with nonsensical science. It is not just bad, it's boring. I cannot forgive boring, so it is a red arrow.
Justin.
Yeah, I mean, what more can I add to that? We're here in the third installment of Species. And so what I've learned up to this point is whatever is the Species franchise, there's some boxes to check. And they do that here. They have hot blonde chick that's naked quite a bit. They have gratuitous kills. They have alien sex. They have a chase. But everything here is lesser than the first two movies. And as Jason said, that's probably a budgetary constraint and all that. But the question then comes up, why are we doing this? I mean, sure, it's a name, and lest we forget, they were able to get Natasha back for a little bit on this. So I can see why the people who are behind the scenes would think, yeah, why not? And unfortunately, that's the way this whole production comes off, is a, yeah, why not type of thing. We've got the people, we've got the story, we've got some money, let's do it. But does it offer anything new? Does it expand the lore of what this Species trilogy so far has been doing? No, it just does the same things again. It rehashes everything we know about these things, and maybe it raises some more questions. Like, we're now wondering what the aliens are under these skin, but does it matter? In the end, no, it really doesn't. It's not fun enough or cheap enough or corny enough to get a brown arrow, and the only thing that's here for you, if for some reason you have a fetish for establishing shots of a red house with a station wagon pulling in, this movie has you covered.
It's a beautiful craftsman.
There's at least 7 shots of establishing this red house with the station wagon pulling in. So I don't know what was going on there, but they used every bit of footage they had of it.
The house was on the market. They really wanted to move it. It's got a lab in the basement.
Yeah, this was a bad idea. I'm not happy to have sat through it, and I only fear for our future because there is one more. So this one is getting a dreaded red arrow from me.
You know, there's one line in Species 3 that hit home for me. Most people don't see it, or don't want to see it.
Tagline.
Wise words. Heed them. Don't see Species 3. It's a half-hearted rerun of the previous films, only now filmed with what looks like pocket change and a flashlight with dying batteries. The iconic H.R. Giger-inspired designs are gone, replaced with rubbery Spirit Halloween store monsters that look like rejected Power Rangers villains. And as far as alien threats, apparently Patrick's hybrid offspring are dying of seasonal allergies, and nothing says galactic menace like being taken out by pollen. Sarah, our new alien seductress, has a conscience which neuters the entire franchise's sexy killer alien appeal. Natasha Henstridge brought lethal allure. Sonny Mabry looks mostly confused and uncomfortable, like someone showed up at that frat party thinking it was a job interview. And the worst part, even the nudity in this film is depressing. This film tries to be sexy the way ramen tries to be gourmet. It's fast, it's cheap, and for some reason it's strangely damp.
Extra salty.
Sarah and Amelia are neither seductive nor scary, just murdery and bored. To be fair, barely. It's not that much worse than Species 2.
Oh, come on.
Now, I know it looks like it was shot in a basement and edited with garden shears, but at least the cast shows faint traces of a pulse, which is more than I can say for the walking 2x4 that was Patrick.
Fair points.
And while Dean and Hastings are brainless clowns, they're only marginally dumber than Gamble and Madsen's hungover performances last time.
Fair.
So is it way worse than Species 2? No. Is it any better? Also no. And that's more than enough reason to stay the hell away.
Amen.
But you know, after this movie, Amelia Cook and Sonny Mabry continued working together, not on screen, but by attending sci-fi cons together.
Ooh.
Did you run into them?
I really wish there was like a database of cons so that I could know if I was at a con with them. It feels like, I was going to so many cons, Wizard Worlds and San Diego, and so many conventions from 2007 to 2019. And at all these cons were very attractive people from things I'd never heard of. And there's so many attractive people in California and in the movie biz that you see these super glamorous women and go, I've never heard of you. So I wonder if I was at a con with them, but they thought it was going to be great to talk to people about this movie and find fans of this movie. But according to Amelia Cook, it was mostly, quote, young guys with sweaty palms staring at me and Mabry, probably picturing us naked. It got creepy at times.
Yeah. They found their audience, and the problem is that audience never aged, right? Like, these movies always just hit whoever happens to be 12 to 15 at the time.
Right. So they had their own booth. They had their own Species 3 booth.
I guess so, and they would rather be actresses than booth babes or something, but I can honestly say, though, all the cons I've been to, all the attractive actresses I've met and had photo ops with, a couple of the most attractive were the two from Human Centipede. Oh my God, were those women gorgeous. Never once have I pictured them naked while they're autographing my DVD or anything. Not even Tracy Lords. I mean, it's like, no, I don't know. I'm just not that kind of a gooner.
That's good. We're respectful to the people at cons. And we're not done.
There is one more made-for-sci-fi movie. Came 3 years later. Somebody looked at this one and went, sure, why not?
It must have put up big numbers on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, they've got Long John Silver's money in this next one.
We talked about Red Lobster's poor money spending, but how does Sci-Fi stay afloat with this kind of expenditure?
They have a whole library of these movies.
And this Friday, for our silver level donors and patrons, we still love that you support Now Playing, so we still know what you did last summer.
This one I'm excited. I'm so excited for the sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I'm still stuck on how they didn't call it I Know What You Did the Summer Before Last. But then here we are all these years later, it would start to get kind of wonky in the naming.
Yeah, I do think it was 2 summers ago. I do think this takes place like a year after the previous film. I haven't seen it in a while.
Technically, yes, you're right. It is 2 summers from the incident in the first movie. So the incident in the first movie, then they go next summer, and now this is a summer after last summer, still regarding the incidents of the previous summer. But I have seen this sequel a lot. I watched it a ton on VHS in the late 90s, and it's got some hitters in there that you're going to recognize. Jack Black's in that movie, and Jeffrey Combs, and Brandy. Mekhi Phifer comes in there as support. Bill Cobbs.
Yeah, Bill Cobbs, who was also in Oz the Great and Powerful for our gold level donation. So you could join us for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer this Friday. Donation of $10 or more. Find the details at nowplayingpodcast.com/donate. And Justin, Jason, thank you for joining me. And now it's probably the spoiled Sarah Lee, but it stinks in here. I'm going outside.
It's all over, everyone. Tomorrow you can go back to your lives. Congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you for listening to this Now Playing Podcast movie review.
Moments like these don't happen every day.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh, I enjoyed that immensely.
Help us spread the word about this show by leaving a 5-star review on Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, or your podcast store of choice.
A tremendous achievement that once again proves that if we can rise above partisan politics, America can climb to the heavens.
Want more reviews like this one? In the archives section of NowPlayingPodcast.com, you'll find more than 1,000 in-depth movie reviews from our panel of hosts.
I want to see it. I want to see everything. And after that, you'll get your reward.
On our site, you can hear reviews for every installment in the world's biggest film franchises, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, James Bond, Middle-earth, Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious, Star Wars, and Transformers.
You never listened.
I'm listening now.
And come back to NowPlayingPodcast.com next Tuesday for another all-new movie review podcast.
It's not too soon for us to be together.
Support from listeners like you keeps Now Playing Podcast on the air.
But then maybe you haven't learned the meaning of sacrifice.
You can donate directly by tapping the support button at NowPlayingPodcast.com.
Wait. You're cutting the funding? You can't cut the funding. I can do anything I want.
And you can join our crowdfunding campaign for early access to new episodes, exclusive reviews, and bonus reviews available for a one-time contribution.
Don't turn your back on us.
Need more Now Playing? Subscribe to our In Focus weekly newsletter for exclusive digital download giveaways, celebrity interviews, behind-the-scenes insights, and more. Sign up through the subscribe page on our website and get it delivered to your inbox every Friday.
Tell him he's about to copulate with a creature from outer space.
You can also compare notes with us on Letterboxd. Go to letterboxd.com/nowplaying to see what our hosts are watching when we're not recording podcasts.
You keep your dick in your pants and your eyes on the prize.
And follow Now Playing on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel.
Let's pay him a visit.
Now Playing Podcast is produced by Arnie Carvalho.
Just don't forget that I'm human too.
Associate produced by Jason Latham.
Where's a good place to find a man?
Now Playing is edited by Heath, Santiago, and Arnie.
Thank you, Mr. President. Credit goes to my crew.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual hosts and may not reflect the views of Venganza Media Incorporated.
Hasn't anyone ever told you that size doesn't matter?
Venganza Media Incorporated is not affiliated with, and this podcast has not been prepared, approved, or licensed by any entity that created the film analyzed herein.
No records. This never happened. Burn the body now.
All movie clips and music included in this podcast are the intellectual property of their respective copyright holders. They are included here for the purpose of review and no infringement is intended.
What about protection?
Now Playing Podcast is an exclusive trademark of and may not be used without the express written permission of Venganza Media Incorporated.
This kind of thing doesn't usually happen to me.
Now playing is a Venganza Media production, copyright 2025, and no part of this show may be reproduced, repurposed, or redistributed without the written permission of Venganza Media Incorporated. All rights reserved.
She was half us, half something else. I wonder which was the predatory half.
The dead half. Let's get the hell out of here.
I swear to you guys, one night back in my early 20s, this is in the very early aughts, before this movie came out, I went over to my buddy's house, we went out all night, did the whole thing, went to bars, crashing on his couch, I'm flipping around to the Skinamax, a movie called Alien Erotica, The Sex Files. I know I brought this up in the first movie. I swear there is a scene that takes place in a gas station bathroom that's very similar to this thing. I think this movie ripped off Alien Erotica.
Jason, I'm so glad that's where that story went. When you started, I was like, oh no, are we about to get a confession we don't need?
No confession. We're just watching movies late at night. Mekhi Phifer comes in there as support. Bill Cobbs. I'm just naming off all the people that I recognize.
I thought you were going to say Bill Cosby. I was like, what?
That's where I thought.
Yeah, he's the guy with the hook.